Will the Bengals really bring back Joe Burrow? Like, really bring back Joe Burrow if they're out of it and they're 3-8? I hope not. It's time to get into that and much, much more right now on Enter the Jungle. Hi again, everyone, and welcome in to Enter the Jungle. I'm James Rapien. He's Andrew Fox Miller. Shout out to our sponsors, FanDuel and Garage Beer. Grab a Garage Beer today. Obviously, you got to get to America's #1 sports book. And plenty to dive into today, Andrew, as we have the 3-7 Bengals to talk about. Let's be honest. A week ago when we were doing the show, it was like, well, if they beat the Steelers, there's a chance in the division and Joe Burrow's ramping up and all of those things. By the way, go to FanDuel.com/bigplay. Like I said, shout out to them. But it came to a screeching halt when the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Bengals, at least for me. Because now you're 3 games back, your division odds completely crumble. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking about what Zac Taylor said on Monday. And in real time, I really tried to push him. You're going to hear those comments in just a second. But I think they're going to bring Joe Burrow back. I wouldn't even completely, as we record this every Tuesday, and we're live right now on YouTube as people are watching, Tuesday at 8, as of Tuesday at 8 with the Patriots just 5 days away, I wouldn't completely bet my life that he doesn't play on Sunday. And I hate it because I think we're going to see Joe Burrow again this season. And while I want to see Joe Burrow play football, there's so much risk and there's really no reward at this point. And so I hate it because it's not just scary. There's really nothing to gain from him playing.
You wouldn't bet your life that he won't play on Sunday
against the Patriots. Would you be
willing to bet your life that they won't make the postseason this year?
Yes. It's over.
Okay. All right.
It's over.
I hear you. I hear you. My point is, and I think you're kind of alluding to it, or you're.
And I don't bet lives, to be clear, but I'll bet some money on FanDuel, FanDuel.com/bigplay. There we go. Okay. 3 times in the first 2 minutes of the show. But yeah, it's done. 3 games back in the division. The Steelers stink, and they got crushed by them in a must-win game.
I'm not saying this for cause for hope or whatever you want to call. I'm not. I want to be clear about this. I want to be clear about this.
Don't do this.
I said it before. I've said it before.
Don't do it.
If Joe Burrow, especially if Joe Burrow realizes that this team is mathematically not eliminated, there is not a 0% chance of them getting into the playoffs. He's a competitor. It's how he's wired. He's going to want to play. Now, if you're a coach or if you're the front office or whatever, whoever's going to make any of these decisions on how they're going to handle this team, since we only talked to Zac Taylor and anyone below him, we'll just work under that assumption. You're going to make a decision on what to do about your franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
That's them. Sure, I get it. And if I were them, I know it's not a very simple answer because there's some nuance here. I'm not going to go into it, but I will say that you want to make your quarterback happy. You want to keep your quarterback safe, and you want to look ahead to the future. I get it. But until there's a 0% chance, I think you're going to have a quarterback in Joe Burrow that wants to go out and play the game that he is here to play. It's what he gets paid to play. And finding a way to say no to that and making sense of that to Joe Burrow, I don't know how I would do it. So I expect him to play until it's a 0% chance. And even then, I don't know if Joe Burrow is going to just sit out. I don't know, or I don't know if he's going to allow himself to be convinced that he can sit out, if that makes sense.
It sounds good. I might be talking to Andrew Zac Taylor Jr. or something right now.
Get out of here.
Welcome back to Enter the Jungle. I'm James Rapien. He's Andrew Fox Taylor Jr. Because he is not going to tell Joe Burrow no.
Yeah, that's me. I guarantee you, I haven't even looked at the rundown, James. I bet the next 3 segments are all about the 2026 season since you came up with them. I can only imagine.
Neither is Zac Taylor, who discussed the plan for Joe Burrow, who will participate in 11 on 11 on Wednesday. Here's the latest, a minute of Zac Taylor on what's next for Joe Burrow and the 3-7 Cincinnati Bengals.
The starting point is he did 7 on 7 last week, came out of the week feeling good. And so then this week, the plan will be, let's get to Wednesday and see if we can work in some 11 on 11 and go from there. So I think before we ever do that, there's no reason to have a discussion on what the timeline is beyond that because there's just steps we got to follow. 7 on 7, great, did individual. And now we continue with the rehab phase next week, and that's 11 on 11. That's getting bodies around him, seeing how he feels, seeing how he moves. And so until we've done any of that, there's no reason for me to speculate on where it's going to be.
Record impacted at all, or is that?
No, I think right now he's of the mindset that he wants to play football for us. And so, again, we'll just continue to get through his rehab progression and see where that ends up before we make any decision on how we want to proceed.
If he does get through that, and since he wants to play,
yeah.
is it?
I'll just wait to see. I'll wait to see how we get through the rehab progression first before I answer those questions. I appreciate the effort, though.
You know why I press there? It's very simple. Because I want Zach to say, yeah, that Joe Burrow is going to come back this season if he's healthy. Because that's a mistake. Oh. That would be a huge mistake. And you're right. There aren't many people in that building, maybe 0 people in that building, that are willing to tell Joe Burrow no. And this isn't going to be the first time I say something about this, Andrew. Maybe they can call me, by the way. I got my phone right. They could call me anytime. Mm-hmm. I could tell Joe Burrow, no, it's going to cost, but I'll be the guy that does that if you want. That can be my job. Mm-hmm. If they're 3-8, let's say he doesn't come back this week. And the reason I'm speculating about him coming back this week is because if he's close, he knows they're 3-7. Could he somehow put on the cape and get them past the Patriots? Like I could totally see him thinking that way. I don't blame him for thinking that way at any point. The competitor, all the things that you said. But if the Bengals are 3-8 and he's trying to play against the Baltimore Ravens, or he's thinking, oh, well, I'm going to go to Buffalo and I'm going to lead the Bengals. Like, for what? For what? We're going to get in a draft order coming up in a bit. Like, that's what matters. And the other thing that matters is the health of your quarterback, because when he's healthy, you have a chance at winning a Super Bowl for the first time in franchise history. And when Joe Burrow isn't healthy, despite what people were saying last week, the Bengals are a far worse team, regardless of what Joe or Jake or James or Andrew, Zac Taylor, Miller say about it. That's the reality of it, is they need Joe Burrow if they're going to be a championship contender, and they need him healthy. And 3-8 isn't getting you there, regardless of how competitive you are. And someone in that building, and really this is a Mike Brown thing, because I think Mike Brown would be the one that would have to do it, is going to have to tell Joe Burrow no. He may get mad. I don't really care, because if they're not mathematically out of it, but they're 3-8, you're out of it. It's done. And it's felt done at multiple points this season. They're 1-7 without Joe Burrow. They've won one game since the second week of September. It snowed last week. It gets dark at 4:45 right now. It's over. And that's why, yes, I am doing everything I can to keep Joe Burrow on the sideline. And that's someone who would probably benefit covering a team that has Joe Burrow out there on the field.
I want to be clear. I don't think that I don't want Joe Burrow out there if it's pointless. If it was 100% pointless,
it is pointless.
I don't care how much he's begging to get out on the field. I don't want him out there as a fan. I don't want him to get injured. I want him to live to see another day, so to speak, right? I get it. Is it possible, though? I'm just going to float this out there. I'm going to take us to a dark place, James. Is it possible? Thinking of the business side of things.
Go ahead. Do it.
We're going to go into like a malpractice kind of territory where we're trotting him out there because it'll put some butts in seats. You know what I mean? Like, is that, I know that it doesn't matter because you're saying not to do it, but there's a lot of scenarios here, I guess is my point, where if it's a non-0% chance that you can get to the postseason, you've got a quarterback that wants to play, and you've got a front office, you've got an organization that is wanting to make money, generate revenue, and Joe Burrow can certainly do that. Mm-hmm. I think the odds are stacked against you that he's not going to play. Not that I'm campaigning that he should. I'm just putting it out there.
He's going to play. Right. And I hate it. And that's why we're going to probably do like 5 different videos of me. You know me, I'm not letting things go. The whole beat has heard me say Tate Ratledge 3,000 times since
I wasn't allowed to say those words when I was around the other.
No doubt. You've been around it. You've experienced it. Like, yeah, I am not going to give, there would be no reason to do it. All I would have to do is play what Ted Karras said during training camp when he talked to Shamar Stewart, when Shamar Stewart hit Joe Burrow. It hasn't gotten any other quarterback, but got to Joe Burrow. He said, well, that's all our hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
That's it. It's that simple.
I remember that, yeah.
The same Mike Brown that sent AJ Green home on Christmas when it was close and they were playing, I think they were playing Houston in 2016 and they were out of it. That's it. That's it. And so that's why I can't rule it out as we sit here on Tuesday, November 18th. that Joe Burrow doesn't put on the cape on Wednesday and after his first 11 on 11 is like, hey, Zach, it's time. Sunday against the Patriots. They've won 8 straight. We have to get the win. Like, and that scares me. Think about it last week. When he came back, it didn't just surprise you and me. Jamar Chase surprised. T. Higgins surprised. Oh, I saw him just getting his stuff on. This dude, like, and then he talked in something I took note of. He was like, yeah, we activated the window. It could be early in the window, late in the window. And all these national pundits are saying, oh, yeah, Baltimore and maybe after that, if worst case, and play the next week. Fine. Like, that would make sense, right? Like, on paper now. Or maybe he's like, you know what? I'm close. I felt pretty good. I was running in practice last week. 11 on 11 felt good. Let's suit up. I'm going to go save the season on Sunday against New England. Like, that's another fear, because I'm not even really worried about the injury component as much as it is you hurt your draft stock. You potentially save jobs that don't need saving because their season was on the line and they laid an egg in Pittsburgh. And those are the type of win now games that you got to have. And I don't want that. I don't want Joe Burrow to hide what they really are as a team. So it's not just about like they're eliminated from the playoffs. It's everything else that comes with it.
You don't want them to be able to just avoid the adversity. You want the exposure. They won
5 straight at the end of last year.
Here's the weaknesses. Here's the flaws. I get it.
And so, like, there's so many layers to it, but that's a big part of it. And that would be my fear. Like, because to me, if the Bengals were a good football team, they would have went to Pittsburgh and won.
Agree.
And there was never a moment in that game where I felt like they were going to win. Not one from the jump. And so you are what you are.
All right. Well, listen, James, take us to break. I look forward to the next segment. I'm sure it's all about, like, here's a list of all the rulers of the jungle for 2026 we're going to talk about, because you're already done. You're already done.
This week's ruler of the jungle should start at safety.
Oh, yeah.
That's another time for another video here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. What missed tackles? Let's talk about linebackers coming up next. What's up, everyone? 12:30. Andrew, there you go. 12.
I tried to get you rapping. I for like the last 3 minutes, you were on a tear.
Yeah, because it's dumb.
I know. I agree. But draft stock. I don't want to hear about draft stock.
If you wanted Joe Burrow to come back, you know what you do?
What?
You win the damn game in Pittsburgh.
I agree.
That's what you do. I see.
Imagine Burrow comes back.
We're live, by the way, for those wondering.
Yeah, we are
we're
live.
Recording for FanDuel. We haven't touched on the Jamar Chase stuff because, well, we don't have Jamar Chase news yet.
I have a Jamar Chase thumbnail ready. Actually, no, it's not completely ready. I was going to share it. Why not?
Yeah.
But
man, oh man. So many Steelers fans, dude, are mad that I called Jalen Ramsey washed.
Oh, sure. Why not? Of course he'll be mad. Just sounds like.
I don't know why. Of course he was washed.
Because.
Dude, if Jalen Ramsey was on the Bengals, I'd be like, yeah, he's definitely not what he once was. You can call him washed.
Right.
Call it like it is. Stop.
Yeah, but
Jamar
the
never
difference
should
is
have let him get in his head. Yeah.
The difference is they've got to get their outrage in there.
Yeah.
Engagement.
Aaron Rodgers is in his prime too. Yeah. What the? He's the same guy he was at Green Bay. Mike could do the Mario jump and the.
So let's take a moment real quick though. Jamar, why have we not heard anything yet, James? Come on,
I don't know.
And tell us, where are we?
Maybe Jamar. Well, I thought Jamar could put together a pretty good defense, because name the precedent where you can get fined $500,000, right? And that's it. Like, if you suspend him for the game, like, he's losing out on $500,000. I don't really know when. It's not like he beat the crap out of Jalen Ramsey. It wasn't that. And so I saw the national report that his defense was going to be like, if I was going to spit on him, I would have like spit on his face. I don't buy that. I don't think that's a real defense. I think you go the precedent argument, and then I think you show clips of really from the jump, Jalen and the Steelers secondary trying to get Jamar, trying to do everything they can to not just be competitive between the lines football wise, but taking it to the line and beyond. Like that's the case you make.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so,
I would love, by the way, if
You-
that was the argument, I want that if I don't get like a transcript from that discussion, like give me a 30 for 30 down the road. If that was the crux of the argument was that I didn't spit at his face. I would love a whole reenactment of it or documentary of it. That would have been fantastic.
Let me ask you this.
Go on.
Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback of the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
Jordy Nelson is the guy hearing this appeal.
Yeah.
Jordy Nelson was a Pro Bowler,
Mm-hmm.
obviously with the Packers and a really good receiver. That man, prime Jordy Nelson would be a lot of fun with Joe Burrow, by the way.
I think I already got the answer. I want to hear your question though.
You think Aaron's like, hey man, F that guy. Make sure he suspect you. You think that there was a text at some point?
In my head canon, as a Bengals fan, he's like, look, Aaron, I'm loyal to green and gold, and we stomped them in the Super Bowl. Like I'm not here to help the Steelers. That's in my head canon what Jordy Nelson would do.
I guess. My goodness. I'm just looking here.
By the way,
I'm serious about the I show speed thing. I bet he could play safety.
By the way, yeah.
No matter
To be clear, I know we're kind of somewhat being lighthearted about this, but yeah, like of course, never spit on anyone. Listen, Jamar knew what he was doing in that moment, whether he lost control or not. He knew what he did. Whatever consequences come his way, it's fine. I'm fine with it. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, he got ripped off. I mean, I don't like the idea that he is losing the absurd amount of money that he'd be losing compared to other.
Well, that's just the defense. That's
right.
So it's two different things. Yeah.
Right. But
we're just
at
saying
the end of the day, like
how you would defend, if you're making a case, that's what you would do. Obviously he messed up. I think everybody agrees there. That's one. Two, this is going to be kind of takey. I don't care that he lied. I really don't. I don't think it's an issue. It doesn't matter to me. I think that there are plenty of times athletes lie in interviews, lie. Like, why would he tell on himself? As far as we know, there was one camera that caught him. Why would he have just told on himself when he was one shot away from just not getting caught anyway? Like,
I'm not
going to go tell a cop I was going 90 in a 55.
I'm with you where your stance on this for what it's worth, but I will throw it out there. I think my argument to that would be if I was taking the side of like, just don't lie. Well, then the alternative isn't so much admit to it. The alternative is
comment.
Yeah. Like the equivalent of like, you talk to my lawyer. You know what I mean?
And I think he tried to I wasn't there. Full disclosure. I didn't travel to the Pittsburgh game. Obviously it's all the reporters that I'm usually around are asking questions. Ben Baby of ESPN asked the question and he said, you spit on him. He's like, in the way Jamar worded it, was like, I never opened my mouth to that guy, and I think he was trying to talk his way. And then Ben came back like 30 seconds later and this was good. So you didn't spit on him, blank. And you had to, and you got to make a decision if you're Jamar. I think it's interesting. I do think the suspension is upheld, but man, they could have a good case. Like you could really, if he has the right representation,
yes,
safe to say he does. I think you could make a hell of a case. Like, hey, there is no way that with all of this, that he should have to deal with these consequences that are unprecedented, that have not happened. Because the difference is, there's two differences with the Jalen Carter thing and the Jamar Chase thing. Two huge differences. One, Jalen Carter was ejected because he was caught doing it. There's one. Two, his game check was $57,000. This is 10 times that amount. It's a rookie deal versus a non-rookie deal. And Jamar Chase is obviously, he's still the highest paid receiver in the NFL. And so it's just a much different type of penalty.
Yeah. And
when you throw in all of the back and forth during it, I'm not saying that he's going to win. I'm saying you can make a good case for why. Like if you're getting a defense lawyer, and obviously his representation will present his defense, you could put together a hell of a case. Like, here's why, that we should be fined a ton, but there's no way we should be suspended for a game and docked $507,160. I think it is something like that.
Yep.
So There you go. 8 minutes on Jamar Chase. Let's talk about, well, guys that can't tackle as well as Jamar Chase. Let's do that. So 12:30 was that first segment, Andrew. We're going to get back to our FanDuel recording. We'll answer some comments at the end here for sure. We only have like 10 minutes left of recording time, so this is going to fly by. We're going to breeze through it, go quickly, and that way we can get to your comments because we got 100 plus comments I know in there. We'll try to filter through as many as we can. Got about 800 of you watching at the moment. I'm sure that's going to continue to rise as it does during these live streams. We're going to get to you, I promise. All right, Andrew, ready to go?
Ready.
All right. Welcome back to Enter the Jungle. He's Andrew Foxmiller. I'm James Rapien, and it's time to dive into, honestly, a big mistake that the Bengals made. A big mistake, and it's at linebacker. The Bengals have been awful when it comes to linebacker play, essentially all season. But really, you look back to that Green Bay game, and that's when the defense really went south. And really, against the run, points given up, all of the above, they've been bad since that game. And oddly enough, that coincides with Logan Wilson's benching. Now, Andrew, I'm not saying Logan Wilson is like this stud still, the same guy that was leading this Bengals defense in the middle of this defense in 21 and 22. But I still think he's better than Barrett Carter. And Logan Wilson made his debut on Monday Night Football, had a 78.5 tackling grade for Pro Football Focus. Demetrius Knight was solid, 78.4 this week. Barrett Carter, the guy who replaced Logan Wilson here in town, a 25 overall tackling grade. I think it's fair to say the Bengals certainly got worse after trading for Joe Flacco the same week. They benched Logan Wilson for Barrett Carter. Barrett Carter started every game since. I think there's hope that Barrett Carter is a good player, but their defense got worse when they benched Logan Wilson.
You know, it's funny. We were going to talk about linebackers a little bit in a previous episode, a previous video that we had done. And I even had like a little like note to myself, like, you know what, I know what it was, James. We were going to grade mid-season grades. We never got around to it because something had come up. And I was kind of, all right, what grades would I give? And I was just kind of handwriting, okay, this is what I would do for this. And one of the notes I had was linebackers, ? And then like, I think they're going to improve as the season goes on. And that was a week ago. And here we are. Yeah. And I'm with you on that. These are two young rookies at the linebacker position that certainly one or both I could see improving, not just this season and beyond, but ultimately my thoughts on it are, why do we have these young guys? Why are we throwing them out in the fire on a defense that you have so many other fires? Why wouldn't you have the veteran stability? And I understand getting rid of Logan Wilson when they did. Why didn't they ease Barrett Carter into things, so on and so forth? But like, why are we? I don't like this mentality. There's times when it works, but when you clearly see the ship going down, this mentality of this is our team, these are our guys, we're committed. I don't know if that's a statement for morale, for culture, but it's starting to really work against them in this case. And linebackers, the first place you could look as a prime example.
I'm going to continue with the fire analogy here. There's a forest fire. Zac Taylor decided to set up camp and build their own fire. Hey, we're going to throw Barrett Carter out there. We're going to do that. We need somewhere to stop for the rest of the season. We're going to do it with 49. Like, one thing that Barrett Carter and Demetrius Knight deserve a ton of credit for, they've talked every step of the way, going through all of these struggles, all of these things. They know it firsthand that they're not playing great overall and that they haven't yet. And that gives me hope. Like, one, they work really hard. Two, they're clearly dedicated, willing to answer. They know what's going on. And so I think they could both be solid players. But the timing, you're not a rebuilding team. You traded for Joe Flacco before that Green Bay game. You made the decision to start him, boom, right away. You were going to Lambeau 5 days after trading for Joe Flacco, and you decide to make a change at linebacker, and then it tanks Logan Wilson's trade value. Like, that's such a big moment. What if Logan Wilson had an interception against the Jets, or had a key tackle, a forced fumble recovery, just that one play that we've heard Al Golden talk about and Zac Taylor talk about and everybody talk about over the past few weeks? Like, if they had won that Jets game, just the Jets game, the season is still much different than it is right now. It feels much different at 4-6 with the win over the Jets. As weird as that sounds, sounds, as odd as that sounds. And then maybe you still do decide to trade Logan Wilson at the deadline, and maybe you get more than a 7th round pick. So the missed tackles are just brutal. They are. And it's not just Barrett Carter. It's not just Demetrius Knight. It's both safeties as well, Geno Stone and Jordan Battle. I mentioned I show speed. He's the ruler of the jungle. Like I really will. I'd work him out this week and see, hey, can he give you something? And I would leave no stone unturned. And I'll talk about that this week on Cincinnati Bengals Talk, what to do at safety, because I think they have to find an answer that isn't what they've done up to this point. But yeah, I think they clearly made a mistake in the handling of Logan Wilson. I get trading him when they did, getting off of that contract, knowing you're going to move on with the youth movement at that point in the season by the deadline, but not when you're going into Lambeau, when you're trying to hold things together with Joe Flacco. You make that change after you're 1-7 without Joe Burrow, not when you're trying to scratch and claw your way back to 500. And so that to me is something that will certainly keep an eye on moving forward, but a clear mistake. The Bengals, they were plus 1,100 to win the AFC North after the Joe Burrow news last week. That Steelers loss will completely change the odds. We'll dive into those coming up next. Welcome back to Enter the Jungle. He's Andrew Fox-Miller. I'm James Rapien, and it is time to dive into our Week 12 odds, brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, by the way, you got to get to FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, because not only is it NFL season, but the NBA, it's in full swing. And Steph Curry, did you see him, by the way? The 3-pointer over Victor Wembanyama? It's proof the comebacks happen, not just against the Bengals. They happen in the NBA. You got to take advantage of it with FanDuel. Getting in on all the live bets, same game parlays. You can do live bet, same game parlays. They have all the odds, all the props, everything in one spot. All you have to do is visit FanDuel.com/bigplay to sign up today, and you'll get $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Play your game with FanDuel. Again, that's FanDuel.com/bigplay, official sports betting partner of the NBA. By the way, you must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. First online, real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit rghelp.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Andrew, these odds this week, two things. One, yeah, there we go. You can look at them. The Bengals 7.5 point underdogs at home, which is just a lot of points, but the Patriots have won 8 straight. Right. You have the uncertainty right now with Jamar Chase, all of the things that go along with that. I'm not shocked by that, but the thing that is even more stands out to me even more, plus 3,300 to win the division. Those seem like Browns odds, not Bengals odds, but that's the reality of the 3-7 Bengals. They're not going to win the AFC North for a 3rd consecutive season.
Yeah. If it weren't for this past game against the Steelers, I would have told you, hey, 7.5, they could easily be within striking distance of that. I wouldn't bet on that. I wouldn't take anything on that. I just don't know with this defense. I've yet to see that moment of like, this could be a turning point in one area, positional area of the defense. Not even that. Am I really seeing it? I just don't know how Flacco can lead this offense against this Patriots team and be within 7.5 points. This is probably the least optimistic I've been heading into a week, and it wouldn't surprise me, but I wouldn't bet on it.
Well, here's the thing with the Patriots. They have some talent, and right. they have Travion Henderson is a stud, and he's starting to come alive here. Hunter Henry's a really good tight end. They have multiple receivers. Stephon Diggs has settled in really well, and Drake May is a real dude.
Yep.
Okay, and we didn't get to the defense yet, so that's the problem here. Is they have a real CB1 type in Christian Gonzalez. And I say type because he's like a real top 5, top 10 corner in this league. And someone that if he's matched up against T. Higgins, it's like, all right, well, where else do you go? And so we'll see. But we'll have plenty of time all week long on our YouTube channel, Cincinnati Bengals Talk, to discuss that matchup. Up next, you mentioned it. I'm looking forward a little bit at least. I'm looking ahead a little bit at least to the offseason. Where do the Bengals, where's their draft order? Let's look at the 2026 NFL draft order way sooner than I'd like. But at 3-7, it's time to look at it. We'll do that coming up next. All right, everyone. We have like 2 minutes and we'll be with you with plenty of answers to your questions, comments, and all of the above here. So we're almost done with our recording.
Oh boy, this segment. I'm gonna need at least 60 seconds of this one. I've got thoughts on just the fact that this segment exists. You just wait. Go, go. Fire it up.
Oh, Andrew thinks they get.
Oh, no. You don't need it. Whatever you're talking, you need to do yourself. Do that internally. Let's go.
No, let's go. Understand that. All right. I'm about to hammer you.
Okay.
Welcome back to Enter the Jungle. He's Andrew Fox Miller. I'm James Rapien. And let's dive into the 2026 NFL draft order. Yes, we're doing it in November. Why? Because the Bengals are 3-7 right now, projected to draft 9th overall in the 2026 NFL draft. So it would be their first top 10 pick since 2021. Obviously, a long way to go. You look at the top 10, the Cardinals are projected to pick 10th as of now, entering week 12. They play Arizona later this year. So Bengals, Cardinals could determine that tiebreaker. But yeah, a chance to have a top 10 pick, Andrew. Your thoughts?
Oh, okay. How much time do we have left for this segment? Because it is too much time, James. This segment, it's already too much time. What are we doing here? Draft order. Like first of all, the draft changes wildly from February until April. November to April? That's like saying, like, okay, speaking of fire analogies, like Song of Ice and Fire, George R.R. Martin. That's like saying for Game of Thrones fans of the show, right? But talking about the book series, of course, here are the authors slated to write a Song of Ice and Fire fan fiction because George R.R. Martin, he isn't going to be able to finish those last 2 books. We don't know if he's going to live long enough. Like, what? You don't do that. You run BengalsTalk.com, James. I've seen mock drafts surfacing on that website. Be honest right now. Tell me, transparency. Do any of the articles about the draft perform well in November of the regular season? I have no point to prove here. I'm very curious.
Sure. We haven't done any mock drafts. Mock drafts are out there. So we react to specific mock drafts that are out there.
Mock draft content.
Draft order is important because it gives fans an idea of where the Bengals are, considering they stink on the football field. They have more missed tackles than they have draft picks every single week. And so, yes, there is a certain part of the fan base that wants to know about draft order, which is why we covered it. And by the way, it does give you some hope if they continue to lose, and they should lose to the Patriots on Sunday. I'm not saying they will, but this is a game they should lose. We will certainly see if they do. We'll see if Joe Burrow puts on that Superman cape. And of course, we're going to have you covered on the YouTube channel, Cincinnati Bengals Talk. For Andrew Fox Miller, who's going to go watch Game of Thrones or read.
Yeah. I'll
Game
take the
of
top
Thrones
10
again.
pick. It's fine. I'm happy with it. Thank you. There's your segment. There's my reaction. Thanks for the top 10 pick. I'm so encouraged. Thank you so much.
I'm James Rapien. Thank you so much for watching and listening to Enter the Jungle. You're ridiculous.
I was not doing. Oh yes, James. Yes. Yes. I'm very encouraging 9th overall pick in the NFL.
I don't think it's encouraging. I just want to tell people where they're at. You know how many people don't pay attention to that? That would be curious?
Well then you put up a sign in the back. I'll put up a whiteboard behind me for every episode, and it'll just have the ongoing. Here they are in the draft, so we don't even have to talk about it.
I could have said which coaches are on the hot seat. You know, I could have done that. I didn't want to do that yet.
Yeah. Some people.
Some people want to do it,
I guess.
The problem is like you do that early, like Burrow comes back 3 weeks go, but I really do wonder if he's going to try to put that cape on this week.
No,
I'm not, that was not me gassing up. I don't know anything. It would not shock me, man. I promise you it wouldn't. Because if they lose this with 3-8, What are you going to do? Get the 9-8? You're going to be on the outside looking in anyway. This is an AFC game. I don't know.
Same comments echoing a bit of what I said. This is why Joe Burrow, like if he is going to come back and we can't control it and nobody can tell him no, like James wants, then
people can tell him no.
Then we'll stop. Joe Burrow is coming to save us from having to talk about the draft.
Like if Zac Taylor can't tell Joe Burrow no, then Zac Taylor shouldn't be the coach.
I mean, that's
if
all the things on the list, I don't even know if that's among the top, but yeah, I hear you.
No, and that's not a Zac thing. Like if the front office can't be like, hey, Joe, this is the plan. This is why we're doing this. Why would we put you in harm's way when we're going to do X, Y, Z anyway? Like there's just so many layers to it. Like I get Joe wants to come back. That's fine. But for what? Like to rack up some stats late in the year? Like I get it. He wants to play football because he enjoys playing football. That's what last season was at the end.
Yeah.
That's different. Like if he was healthy, we wouldn't be like, oh, well, take him out. And I wouldn't either. But they're going to put a steel plate in his shoe. He's not going to be 100%, and he's going to be battling on a surgically repaired toe for what? Again, I would be all for it if there was a legitimate shot at winning the division. There's not. Like that's it. It ended. So.
Comment here. He should be benched, speaking of Joe Burrow, for the rest of the year unless we make him miraculously clever. That's the thing, though. And to your point, James, if he could walk back in all of a sudden on Sunday, like that's going to be his mindset, is that he can be the spark. He can be,
That's what Sunday would be like if there was if he's close. Sunday would be the game you need to put the cape on, not Thanksgiving, and it's a 4-day difference. So. The fear is like, let's say he did come back Sunday and he led them past the Patriots and they shocked the world. That turnaround time for him is going to be a freaking nightmare. I mean, it would just be so tough to do. But I really wouldn't put it past him because last week caught us off guard, but it really aligned with everything you heard me. Like everything I had heard was like, oh, he's crushing everything. He's going to come back. He plans on coming back, all of those things. And if he's ready to go Thursday, like for Thursday, Thanksgiving, can't go 4 days earlier. And I think I would be surprised if he's personally shut the door on playing Sunday right now, as we're sitting here. And that's probably mind-boggling to some, but like,
is Burrow's going to rob us of a Flacco revenge game? I don't know. I'm just spinning it at this point.
Revenge of the Patriots?
No, I'm talking about for Ravens.
Oh, sure. Yeah. But so if you wanted to keep the season alive realistically, you'd have to get the next two, right? And because then you're 5-7. You're 3-1 in the division. You gain a game on the Ravens, but it's going to be tough to catch the Steelers. You're 3 games behind the Steelers.
Right.
So I can't believe I'm doing that. But like, if that's how Joe's thinking, they just really needed to get that Jets game or needed to get the Steelers game. Obviously, both would have been best. But
unfortunately, as each week goes by, and I said it in our members only stream, James, like video that we did today. As each week goes by, I look back like, yeah, they should have won that Jets game. They should have won that Bears game.
Mm-hmm.
But each week that takes place afterwards, I'm like, well, now I know what they probably couldn't have. There's a reason
the Jets, they should. Yeah, I mean, the Jets, they should have won. Like, that's still insane.
Fire up a couple questions, comments. Speaking of Joe Flacco, Robert here asks, question is Flacco's shoulder bad? In other words, there's been some conversation, hey, he wasn't playing at 100% against the Steelers, and maybe he even re-aggravated some things. Zach kind of said his piece on it, but ultimately, how much do you speculate from a spectrum standpoint, how much pain he's dealing with or it's impacting his play?
We didn't notice it against the Bears, right? Even though I think we did. That was the funny part about it, is like they scored all those points late, but like the Bear, and it wasn't just Flacco, but like the offense wasn't like nearly what it was for most of that Bears game. Then they score, they get the onside kick. But like, it was a pick six. Like if he wasn't touched down, the Bengals are suddenly down by 3 touchdowns with 3 minutes to go,
No.
And so it was definitely much different. And then they almost pulled a rabbit out of a hat. I don't know if they necessarily should have won that game. They should have won the Jets game. And I thought the football gods were paying them back with the Bears. And then they let him off the hook. So yeah, I think Flacco, he's not 100%. There's no doubt. He's 40. And he's dealing with a real shoulder injury. And that's it. Now, is he too hurt to play? No, I don't think that. And I think he gives them their best chance when Joe Burrow isn't able to play. But it's noteworthy and it sucks. And that's the downside. That's another piece of that Jets game. It shouldn't have even came to that. It shouldn't have been a 1-score game. You shouldn't have had to drop Joe Burrow or Joe Flacco back on 3rd and long where he gets sacked. Because that was it. Like they did a really good job of protecting him that game against a good front and a solid defense for the Jets at the time. Because they did that. That's before they made any trades or anything like that. Like they had a real team. And to be up like they were and in control and to let the Jets back in it. And then you have to drop Joe back. He gets hurt. And then you not just lose the game, but now he's playing at less than 100%. Yeah, it is. That whole sequence, that whole fourth quarter might have completely changed the Bengals season had they just closed that game out. Joe Flacco doesn't get hurt and things go on. But they didn't close the game out. And you're right. There is a theme. And that's why bad teams are bad sometimes, is because they give up that one play. I remember the 2010 Bengals were like this. We obviously knew each other. We were working together then as well in a different line of work, but I would lose my mind watching them. Like I remember them coming back against the Colts and they should have won that game and Carson's taking them downfield and it's rookie Jermaine Gresham and you got T.O. and you got Chad and they're making plays. They made some plays against the Steelers late on, I think it was Monday Night Football to rally back and they had a chance. Like there was all these games. Was there a Falcons game that year with Adam Pac-Man Jones, I think? Anyways, there were all these games where coulda, shoulda, woulda, and they didn't. There was a Tampa Bay game that year. There's a Cleveland Browns game that year. T.O. scores a touchdown, and I'm just giving every memory I could think of right now in the moment of the 2010 Bengals. And guess what? They won 4 games because they just weren't that good.
Right.
And they blew a bunch of games that they would have won if they were a good team.
I'm going to allow this question, even though it is draft related. It goes against what I stand for. And I will say this, by the way, Dan the man, he should be writing our segments, James. Let's recruit him to do this because I actually would play along with this one, draft scenario. And there's a guaranteed Hall of Famer available at every position when we're on the clock. Doesn't matter who it is, they're a guaranteed Hall of Famer. But which position do you draft? Forces you into position, not player, James. Imagine Madden 99 across the board. What position are you taking first? And there's no guarantee, of course. I'm going to add to this. Excuse me, Dan the man. I'm going to add to your scenario because I know James is already going to be thinking of loopholes or whatever's going to go on over there. You don't know what's going to come in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and on. There's no guarantee it's a 99. This is your chance. What are you doing? How are you feeling it?
Don't you have to take a quarterback?
Is that a take? Are you trying to take on me?
No. If you could get a guaranteed Hall of Fame, if you could get a Hall of Fame quarterback coming out of the draft and it's guaranteed, don't you have to do that?
Guaranteed. Okay, let's work under the premise that they're Hall of Fame caliber talent. Not that they're going to not get injured and therefore maybe not get into the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Let's
all right. So fine. That fits this roster. All right. So that's different. Defensive tackle.
Yeah.
Geno Atkins, like Aaron Donald, that's what you would take. Because
yeah.
if you get that guy, it can change your whole defense. Like Chris Jones gives Zac Taylor nightmares anytime they play. Gives Joe I don't know if Joe Burrow has nightmares, but dictates a lot of what the Bengals do and impacts it. Aaron Donald does that. So that's what you want. So to fit this roster, sure. From a pure asset, that's how I was viewing it, is what's the best asset? Well, the best asset is a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Right. So we're talking about Bengals 2026.
Sure. And so it would be defensive tackle. It would.
Yeah, man.
But,
all of it's so tempting. But
as the CEO of Draft Players Not Positions, you obviously don't force it.
You couldn't help yourself. You couldn't help yourself. You can't play
along.
along.
Let everyone know.
You can't.
Got to let everyone know.
Let's see here. Oh, Landon in here. What's up, Landon? Every single AFC North rival fan is now going to take that clip out of context and say you're slandering. Well, now they will because I put the comment up. But yes, you're.
I mean, I'm not. He's the best quarterback in the North. There, take that comment. He's the best quarterback in the AFC North.
There's a subset of the AFC North fan base overall that is angry about Jalen Ramsey. And your thoughts?
One of these. I got a comment from a Steelers fan today that was like, Joe Burrow's overrated. And I thought about it. I didn't respond, but I was like, the Steelers would give up their next 4 first-round picks for Joe Burrow right now, and they would laugh at the Bengals for doing it. They would probably give up 2 drafts worth of picks just to get Joe Burrow in the building right now. Like if they could just give up their next 2 drafts and put a healthy Joe Burrow in place of Aaron Rodgers, maybe even today's Joe Burrow, because he's healthy enough and they're in the playoff race. Like, of course they would do that. And so it is kind of funny because like fans say that stuff and the Steelers would like sell their soul to get Joe Burrow right now because they would be instant Super Bowl contenders if Joe Burrow were in Pittsburgh. Like instant because of what he does, what they have on defense, that culture, all of those things. Like, of course they would. So, yeah.
By the way, there's some good questions here that I do want to pull up, but you guys got to watch what you're typing out. I mean, some of the stuff I can't we sometimes we package this and put it on TV. I can't use some of the profanity in these comments.
Me?
No. Well, those I save for my own personal amusement, but yeah.
I was like, don't protect me now. Don't protect me now.
Let's see here. By the way, doing a quick refresh. No news on the
Jamar
Chase.
I had my phone down for the most of the show, but yeah, I need to have it up now just in case.
Here's one for you. I haven't actually seen this one come up. Just double checking.
What?
I was just making sure it hadn't come up. Trey Hendrickson. Speaking of players like Burrow, whether or not they should come back, it's not a question of whether or not Trey Hendrickson should. What do you think will happen from here on out? Let's say they even win the next 2 games, which would be incredible and insane.
I think we see Trey back. Yeah.
Okay. Just trying to gauge where you're at here.
But if they lose the next 2, then you may see Trey, assuming the report is true. And I haven't talked to Trey since this report came out, but the core muscle surgery, if I were him, I'd probably just get it. He might want to rack up more stats because it's a contract year. You know, it's tough. But I thought he was disruptive when he was healthy this year. And you look at some of those advanced metrics, that still worked.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, you're still going to get a pretty good contract. But yeah, this is the downside to not getting that long-term deal. This is why I was surprised his camp went the route they did. I also think you got to be careful. Like if you're Trey, you don't want to show too much at this point because then the Bengals could franchise tag you again. And he doesn't want to be tagged. He wants to get to the free agent market, and it's a crappy free agent class overall. Like there's some good players, but it's not like Trey wouldn't be a hot commodity. And so maybe shutting it down gets him to free agency, and then he can get that $30+ million payday he's looking for per year.
Him not saying another snap in the 2025 regular season, you don't think it moves a needle for better or worse in terms of the contract he would get from a team that is not the Bengals?
It could. No, for sure. I mean, what if, and you look at the back end of that schedule, you got the Cardinals and the Browns, and, you know, you're going to go up against some crappy quarterbacks potentially. Like you have a shot there too, but you know, is it worth going back on the field? There's just a lot to weigh. I do think that Trey loves football, wants to play. He hates not playing, the competitor, all that stuff. I also think that there is a business side of it that could come into play a few weeks from now. I'm not sure it's there now. Like a lot of people went to that right away. I don't like to go to that right away, but yeah, at some point reality should set in and should set in. And that's why, you know, It would set in for me if I was running the team with Joe Burrow much sooner rather than later.
So we've talked about whether or not Joe Burrow should come back onto the field. We've talked about
if he's going to come back. Last thing,
okay.
real quick. If he's going to come back, it should be this week because they still have a chance this week.
And if I'm Joe Burrow, that's what I'm thinking. If it's going to happen at all, it should be this week. I don't know that it would be.
And that's it, right? And so that's why I put the nugget out there. Like I really think that there's a not zero scenario that we see Joe Burrow suiting up on Sunday.
I don't think it changes anything. Let's just, again, working under the premise that he's capable of coming back.
Yeah.
Not having, and it's not the first time, but not having Jamar, does that sour things a bit for Joe, or is he just like, I'm just happy to be back on the field?
No, I think he might be the other way.
Mm.
Like if they don't have Jamar, he's like, it's morphin time. I'm going to get my Spidey suit on. He's going to go full Tony Stark with the Iron Man, like whatever you want to say, whatever reference, like that might be the other way. Because I do think that there's a small chance that if Jamar's on the field with Joe Flacco, that they could just put up a bunch of points. And Drake May has an off game, throws 3 picks. The Bengals get up early. Like there's a scenario. It's a very little scenario, but the crowd gets into it. It's not crazy. It's not the craziest thing in the world, but pretty unlikely. And there's a 0 chance without Jamar and Joe Burrow that they win. There's 0. There's no, a 1% because every team, any given Sunday, right? But it's very, very low if you don't have either one. So could I see Joe saying, all right, well, we don't have Jamar. I have to do this to try to save our season, which I hate. I hate that they're in this position. That's what annoys me so much about this 3-game losing streak. Like your backs were completely against the wall. You can't tackle. You have the same issues. I wanted them to come out and be such an aggressive, like from a pure will and embarrassment standpoint on defense. And I know they only gave up 10 points in the first half on defense, which is great. But the missed tackles and the bull crap. Even on the first drive with Kenneth Gainwell, like it can't happen. You can't get outran by a linebacker or by a running back in space if you're a linebacker and you're supposed to be guarding that guy. If you're Geno Stone, you have to find a way to get Darnell Washington out of bounds. And instead you kind of like hugged him with your shoulder a little bit.
Hug might be a bit too aggressive for what we actually saw take place there. I've never seen anything quite like it. It was like missing, but it was it's like when 2 magnets opposites and they pushing against each other, but they still somehow touched. Like I don't.
That's how it was. You're right. No, that's a good way to describe it. Yeah. And I don't blame. Like I wouldn't blame him if he got stiff armed into the turf or into the grass. It's grass at Acrisure Stadium, but be mad that you're one of the worst tackling teams and players in the league. Like Geno, Jordan, Demetrius, Bear, like they all are. Like they have 4 of the top 6 or whatever. We did it in the members only video today. So that's where I was really disappointed on defense. And then on offense, it's disappointing that they couldn't figure out how to get that ball moving. And the defense forced 3 straight punts in the first half. And with your season on the line, that's the other thing that has really soured me on this team. And the quick 180. Like if you watched me last week, I was definitely like, all right, well, go win. But I know the Bengals went into that like, hey, we have to get a win here. Like internally, that was the message. Let's get a win. Let's sweep the Steelers. We're going to be right back in it. We'll be a game out and we're going to go. And they played like that. And that's just no answers on offense after the Steelers counter from a month ago. And on defense, the same old BS, crappy missed tackles and not being aligned and all of the things that went into it. It just can't happen.
A lot of people debating, telling us, hey, don't spend your money on the Bengals. Don't go to games. Some people are saying like, P. Crawley here, Patriots game will be sold out. Look, I'm bringing this up because I'm going to the game. The ticket was already paid for. And, I'm taking my son who doesn't really get a chance to go to Bengals games. I figured a non-divisional game would be the best one to take him to as far as audience cooperating. And
you gotta go earlier in the year, man. What was the other game you went to? The Jets? Were you at the Jets game?
we were at the Jets game. Yeah. Yeah.
His first game this year was the Jets game. You gotta go earlier.
Hey,
bro.
we can't all just sit in the comfort of your little glass enclosed booth and take pictures of the field and eat meals that are catered to us.
Meals that are catered. No comment. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right. That's what Jamar should have done, by the way.
Sure, that's fine. I don't care that he lied though. As a reporter, like think about that. Just
No,
to be
I get
clear.
it. Like you're
Whatever.
not taking it as a slight. You're not taking it personally. You're not
No.
taking it as like a disrespectful thing. No. Okay, it's fine.
You get into a fight, you come home after you get into a fight at a bar, and your wife is like, "Hey, what happened?" Are you giving her every detail right away? Every detail right away if it makes you look bad? Or are you going to try to like bypass it so you could think a little bit? Like he's talking to reporters. I'm sure he's I'm sure he's wondering what was said like publicly. I know that's not a perfect analogy, but like publicly, like I wonder what Jalen said. I wonder what's being seen. I wonder if there's video. Like I'm sure all these things are going through his head. He hasn't had time to think about it. So like I don't blame him for who cares. And plus, we still don't have the results of this appeal. Yeah, we still don't. Schefter tweeted the CFP bracket projection. Schefter, don't do that.
You know what killed me? You know what killed me with that exact similar thing. Speaking of ESPN, it sat at the top of my feed that I curated with Bengals news, and sure enough, it sat there for a good 20-30 minutes before a new tweet came in, and it was Ben Baby, and it started with which one was it? It was the high school, right? Was it? Yeah. Official. He begins with the regional final between Elder and St. X will be at Paycor on Friday, 2 days before that. But he begins with official, and it sat at the top of my feed for like 20 minutes, and I kept going, oh no.
Ben Baby.
I got to pull out that old clip. That's ancient. That's a reference no one's going to know. No one in this chat's going to know.
No, hell no.
And I don't mean that in a you don't know way. That means like I wish people knew about it.
Yeah, Eli Apple.
Yeah.
Eli Apple. What do you think? He might be able to tackle. Put him at safety. Bengals corners are pretty good. DJ Turner and Daxo are pretty good.
Yeah.
Miles Murphy played pretty well the other day.
Yeah.
Just noting that. Like there were some things, and that's what sucks is like in this year you got big topics and stuff like DJ Turner's a real guy.
Yeah.
I think Dax has been consistent, and like if he's your 2, DJ's your 1 and Dax is your 2, you feel pretty good about that because Dax is really versatile. And
I'm still attacking corners in free agency in the draft for what it's worth, but I'm sure you are too. But I'm still
I'm attacking.
I'm not resting on DJ Turner and Dax as my
attacking pass rushers and playmakers.
I'm just saying
they need playmakers on defense, man. They have none. And that might be a corner. I'm not saying that. By the way, have you seen Emmanuel Forbes? I'm going to pat myself on the back. Have you seen that dude? I'm going to pull it up from. We did the video last year, didn't we? We did a video on that, right?
I think so. You're going to make me dig up that old
No,
receipt?
I'm doing it right now.
Dan, I don't know. And actually, James and I talked about this earlier today, like on a member video that we did where it was like 100% of the snaps. Like I don't know what world do you have job security where you get 100% of your snaps. And even if you don't agree with the grading system of PFF, like they're not the only ones that are out there and observing. I mean, just anybody is seeing what's happening out there. And I would love for that level of job security to be a 7th round draft pick. A team doesn't want to work a new deal with me. I go to the Bengals and I get to, even though they restructure my contract, I still get paid handsomely compared to what I've done on the field in the last 2 years. It's incredible.
Yeah, I'm putting the story I wrote last year in the chat that the Bengals should trade. I wrote something. I didn't do a video on it, probably because you were like, dude, are you serious? Claiming a guy? Like, let's just do it if they claim him, Shocked that a guy who went in the first round, runs a 4.35, made a ton of plays, had 14 interceptions, 6 pick sixes. Shocked that he could figure it out in the league. dominating with the Rams, by the way. But like literally put your boy from Ohio State with the Seahawks. Jackson Smith and Jigba just completely not won that matchup, put it that way. Which if he's winning that matchup, that's huge. So those are the type of moves that when you're so bad on defense, like taking those flyers, you never know. Because if you could look up right now, if you're the Bengals and have Emmanuel Forbes, Dax Hill, and DJ Turner, and you wouldn't feel like you needed to go after corners. And it really sucks what happened to Cam, by the way, out for the season with the foot injury. But
and by the way, we talk about what they should have done. Like we don't even need to go. There's not even a huge, not a huge mountain to climb by just getting some help. We talked again about it earlier today. Kyle Duggar, not saying that he's going to be a Pro Bowler this year. I'm not saying any of that, but like compared to what we have right now in this defense, the Patriots made it known they wanted to trade him. Steelers trade a 6th-round pick for him for the Patriots 7. Done deal. Steelers are they 650,000 they owe him for the rest of the season. That's it. We got what we need for the rest of the season because we needed it, and he's performing. It's a 76, 77 PFF grade from that game against the Bengals. Geno Stone, 100% of the snaps once again. 49 PFF, whatever it was. But
I wrote a story about Kyle
crazy.
Duggar on August 20th. Just to your point, like that's when he was available.
Yeah.
I hate it. So the two big things to me this offseason that were just awful lifts. One, you just don't add anything on defense outside of TJ Slayton when it comes to proven talent. You do nothing at safety. Like that's it. So you're banking on young linebackers. You're banking on young pass rushers. You do nothing at safety, and that's a clear weakness. DJ Turner emerges, so you feel better at corner. But like that's just rough. I see a chat asking about Dejon Anthony. I think Dejon Anthony is probably healthy or close to it. But they view him a certain way. I would give Tyson Anderson. I'm going to do a whole video on like probably tomorrow. It's going to be the video, Andrew. It's like 4 things I would do.
Okay.
And one is certainly going to involve safety.
You're pitching it very well. But let me ask you this. Can Tyson Anderson, can he tackle? Have you seen them?
You tell me.
Tackle? Can he do it?
Speaking of.
Because so bring him on the field. Like I'm ready.
Look at this. Literally, so I pulled up that Kyle Duggar story, and it says, the video is Tyson Anderson on Bengals defense preseason interception. I said months ago on Enter the Jungle, like, hey, I would give Tyson Anderson a shot over keeping Geno Stone at that money.
Or at least rotate more. 100%.
Well, now they should. Yeah, like Geno's on the roster now. Like, fine. I'm fine keeping him. I'm not saying that now.
I'm fine with Geno Stone being that ball hawk in certain situations, but find ways to use him when you want to use. Not 100% of the time.
Yeah. Tyson Anderson just talking about interceptions. I'd play him. Play him. Anyways, all right.
Yeah.
Well, this was fun. This was a lot of fun. I like that Andrew's fired up. The Bengals, they have a lot of.
You keep throwing draft segments at me, and you'll wake me up. I'll tell you that. In November,
dude. The more I think about that Burrow thing, like buckle up.
Okay, all right.
I'm just telling you, because you're right. No one in the organization is going to say no. And that mother, he's going to look at it and say, because what do you think I would do? Like, I'm competitive. Like, what do you think I would do? Of course, I'd be like, all right, well, let's roll.
Yeah. And you'd be like, sign Chad now too.
Barbecue chicken. Chad
just so I can practice with him.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like, for real. Like, and he's way more competitive than I like. So I'm sure he's like, all right. Like mentally preparing right now. Like, I'm going to go dominate 11 on 11 tomorrow. And then I'm going to be like, hey, it's time. Oh. All right. I'm going to go drink a garage beer. He's Andrew Fox Miller. I'm James Rapien. Thank you so much for watching and listening. By the way, if you're going to FanDuel, of course you are, FanDuel.com/bigplay. Support our sponsors so we can keep doing Enter the Jungle and this is an hour plus episode.
Supersized.
Appreciate you guys. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching.